Morning, everybody. Jim here from Adkins Results Coaching. Just got a quick minute to talk to you before I go teach this morning, and I wanted to talk to you about what a fool believes. It came to me last night, and it's something that I've noticed before in my life. It's just something I wanted to, it happened last night, and it brought it back to the surface. So I wanted to share it with you and ask the question, are you fooling yourself? Do we fool ourselves? When we start talking about making changes in our life and making things better, and we start discussing with our subconscious and our conscious mind how we're going to go about this or what the reality is going to look like in the future, do we fool ourselves? Are we believing things that are not true, or worse, are we not getting the full picture? Let me explain. Let me catch you up, okay? So last night we had an incident. Everybody's okay. I don't want you to dwell on that. But it was, there's ice on the road. My boy goes over a hill and whoop, down into a ditch he goes. I go help him, go sit and help the police and the tow truck get him out. And one of the officers, and they were great, by the way, they were fantastic. But one of the officers comes up to the truck. I'm sitting there with my hazards on. And I introduced myself, and he says, your son says he just left the family business. And I said, yes. Yeah, White Tiger Martial Arts up the road. And as soon as I mentioned martial arts, oh, what style? What style? And so White Tiger Martial Arts. Oh, what dojo? What White Tiger Martial Arts? I kept trying to explain to him White Tiger Martial Arts right up the road. And MMA. And I'm like, no, White Tiger Martial Arts. We're Kempo. And MMA. And it's like, I realized, my answer is no, we're above the MMA. We're we do more than that. It didn't register to him. And I just kind of greeted him, grinned, made sure he didn't slip and fall on the ice. And he walked away, and he did his thing with it. And I was like, what do you say to people like that? What do you say to people who only have one point of reference and only hear what they want to hear because that's all they know and understand? Now, this is not a fault. Okay, this is not a bad thing. This is not knocking or belittling anybody, because listen, we all do it. Let me explain further. If you want to put it into context of duration of time or history, back in the old days when martial arts first started, not the 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 years ago, but in the United States. So let's go back to roughly the 1940s and 50s, when our military was coming back with some training. They had some because they were overseas in Japan and Okinawa and China. They were in these foreign countries, and they were learning these exotic fighting skills. They were bringing them back to the States. Well, not everybody who came back was a master, that's for sure, right? So they had misinformation, and they had a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And trust me, nobody was a master. I can't say nobody was, but I would imagine that the small amount of time they weren't able to master what they were after right away. So when they brought it back to the States, everybody called it judo. Judo was a big thing. Everybody was learning judo. And so whenever you talk to people about, and they were doing karate, Shotokan, imagine Okinawa Te was really big. Wadokai, Shrinji-ryu, those kind of things were, I think Wadokai is newer, but anyway, Shotokan and those arts, the Okinawa Te was really big. The karate was really big. And the small amount of people that were training in it, that knew it, must have dealt with what I dealt with last night. What are you doing? What is that you're doing? Well, I'm training. Oh, it's judo? Oh, it's judo, huh? And pretty soon, everybody was judo chop. Well, they don't chop in judo, okay? Judo is a series of takedowns, throws, and lies. And it's funny, judo is a great sport, and but everything was judo, because that was the point of reference that everybody seemed to have. Now, I'm sure it wasn't everybody, so excuse my language, but most people. Then, when Kung Fu came over, and Bruce Lee, the big advocate of David Carradine and Kung Fu, things became Kung Fu. In between that time, there were a few serious training students who developed and brought forward, and I can't remember if it's Mr. Sullivan, Chuck Sullivan, I'm going to give him credit because, he was back around at that time when Parker and everybody was karate, and you go to the tournament circuits and things like that, karate, and that's what it was. And the big sign on Parker's dojo was karate, and then everything was karate. Well, karate is two words, or it has a meaning, a definition. It's empty hand, karate, empty hand. So then everything was karate, including the kung fu that people do. Oh, you're doing karate. Oh, and then judo became karate, right? And that's okay. So when people, what are you doing? What are you doing? Is that karate? And it's kung fu, or it's aikido, or it's bushido, or something. You're going, how much do you want to try and teach this person on the spot about karate or what you're doing, right? Because in their head, all they're going to hear is what they think they know. What does a fool believe? And when I say fool, it was just a catchy title. Okay, I'm not calling people foolish, but bear with me here. I only got a few minutes, and I know you do too. So later, everything became kung fu. Bruce Lee was out. David Carradine's, they were out. The whole series of kung fu, and kung fu. Suddenly, people were paying attention. That's kung fu. That's karate. That's judo. And people kind of got the idea. Well, the next fad that popped up, Western boxing became big in there, but we're not going to talk about the history of the martial skills. We're talking about the paradigm of what people believe. Taekwondo was the next big influx of popularity. There's a lot of Taekwondo schools opening all over the United States. The United States the government was giving money to Korea to rebuild their businesses, and they were sending people to the United States. They were opening businesses over here, and right next to American businesses, but neither here nor there. But now everything is Taekwondo. So depending on the region in the United States you grew up with martial arts, you will refer to it. You'll hear people refer to it from the late 70s to even into the early 90s, I think, even now here in Michigan, because Taekwondo is big over in the eastern side of the United States for some reason. Everything is Taekwondo. What do you do? And you try to explain, I'm a martial arts instructor. Oh, I did Taekwondo when I was 5. Well, I'm sure you did, but that's not what I do. I'm not Taekwondo. But how much time do you want to spend trying to educate this person? Because why? They're only going to hear what they think they want to hear or what they think they know already, unless they're truly interested. Listen to what I'm saying. Unless they truly want to know, they truly want to change, then that person might spend a few minutes with you paying attention to what you have to say. Well, what's the new fad? MMA. What does that mean? Well, the words mixed martial arts. By the way, Kung Fu means not the art of killing and bashing. Wushu is war art. Kung Fu roughly translates to time and energy. Generic terms for a broad, vast, beautiful skill set. MMA, mixed martial arts or mixed up martial artist, depending on where you're training. It means taking arts, other arts, and blending them. Well, that's been going on forever. It's not new. It's not this thing where, oh, hey, look what I'm doing. Or Bruce Lee may have been the first public person to come out and with a lot of attention and give it notoriety because of what he did with his training. But he wasn't the first, trust me, and he wasn't the last. So MMA, as it became a sport, has become judo or karate or kung fu. But it's whatever the person thinks it is. Oh, you do MMA. Well, I teach 3 different arts. That's mixed martial arts. But do I grapple and roll around on the floor with people? Absolutely not. Do I get in a cage and try to bash and be grumpy with everybody else? No, absolutely not. So what do you do? Well, let's turn this to you now. I know I'm on a rampant, right? What a fool believes. When you tell yourself you want to change, you want to move forward, you want to better yourself, at what point does your subconscious machine kick on the play button and replay things that stop you from moving forward? only to hear your conscious mind hear what it wants to hear and make an excuse for it and determine that it's okay to stop. Let me put it into context. What do you want? Diet, finances, relationship? Let's do relationship today. Let's see if I can make up something here. Okay. Your partner and you decide you're going to work on your relationship. And you know your partner does certain things that you find not pleasing. Tons of things that please you, few things that don't, and vice versa, right? So you decide, okay, I'm willing to change this, this, and this about the things I do if you're willing to change this, this, and this about the things you do. And then your partner doesn't change fast enough for you. So you make the excuse, well, we said that we would do it together and we're not, so I'm not going to do it now. What you did is you heard only what you wanted to hear during the agreement time. And now, because it's not happening the way you believe or think it's gonna, should have, maybe, possibly gonna happen, you make an excuse to stop it from happening at all based on what you believe is supposed to be. What a fool believes. Ask yourself a real question. Take time to learn the answer. Don't just on the surface. Is that MMA? Oh, you do judo? Judo chop. Oh, I know that. I took Taekwondo when I was 5. I know what you're doing. Hire an expert. Become the expert. When I say master of all things, we talk about mastering many things. It's really not about mastering all the little skill sets. It's about mastering yourself. Become the master of your own life, your own reality, and you will master the little things. Why? You will know all the answers, all of them, that pertain to you and the direction you're headed. What a fool believes. Put your beliefs in check, people. Today's a good day to sit and look back and reflect at yesterday and the day before and ask yourself this. Am I telling myself only what I want to hear when it pertains to my goals and my progress? The light bulb just went on. Good. Am I only listening to the things that I want to hear? When other people try to help me, do I fully listen to what they're trying to say, or do I put up on the conversation what I think they're trying to tell me? That happens to everybody all the time. Most people only listen to what you're saying because they're waiting for their turn to talk. I know. Not me, right? Okay. Let me see if I made all my points here. I wrote some notes really quick this morning as I was sitting down. We only know what we want to know, right? You will only learn what you're ready to hear or what you want to hear. Open yourself up. Be a vessel. Everything that you do learn, and I can tell you this as a teacher, when I teach something, I can teach it to 2 people at the exact same time, the exact same lesson, and both of them will inevitably leave with different lessons. And I'm okay with that, as long as my point and the importance of the lesson was met. And I try to make sure of that when I teach in different ways. When I'm on here, you hear me change the tone of my voice. You hear me change the speed of my voice. It's to reach different people. When I repeat myself, it's not because I think you're ignorant and you didn't get it the first time. It's because somebody may hear it differently the second time around. Understand that. We only know what we want to know. Point of reference is a comfortable place for misunderstandings. When you think you know everything, and you put the conversation into a place in your head where you know already what they're going to say, you never truly hear what they're going to tell you. Never. Your point of reference may be way different than their point of reference, and as they speak, you're not going to get what they're trying to tell you. You will hear, you will understand, you will leave the conversation thinking that you know, unless you actively listen. The same thing is true with yourself. When you have a conversation with yourself and you're discussing the betterment of your life, you need to stop the point of references and stop the intended or perceived outcome. Write down exactly where you want to go, what you want to be, and where you are right now, and measure it, monitor it, and master it. We only learn what we seek to understand. When you try to learn things, if you truly want to understand them, all of this will click and it will happen, and you will learn. Okay. If you're just listening on the surface, you might learn a couple things, but you won't truly understand it. Learning to speak a word, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, just because you can say the word and sound kind of precocious, it doesn't mean that you know what it means. I don't even know what it means. Um, Trying to educate everyone can be tiring. On the other end of the spectrum, if you get somebody that's not listening to you and you're trying to teach them something, or in reference, they just walk up to you and, hey, how you doing? What do you do for a living? Well, I'm a life coach. Oh, I know what a life coach is. Yeah, I had one of those people one time. He helped me learn how to play baseball. Nope, that's not it. Do we spend our time trying to share with them what we do? Well, if they truly want to understand, they take the time to listen, and I would take the time to teach. But on the surface, generally people just want to do judo or MMA. So, if this is true of others, what do you tell yourself? We talked about that. Do you only listen to what you want to hear? Your excuses. Check yourself. Um, Next time we get on here, and it may be tomorrow, it's tomorrow Friday. I might do it tomorrow. I might wait till Monday. I want to teach you to reprogram your subconscious. It's a machine, not unlike a tape recorder. There's nothing there. You're not going to talk to your subconscious and it's going to listen and then you're going to change things. Your subconscious is programmed, and it's like pushing the play button on a tape player. It's going to play back whatever it is it's been trained to play back during situations or decisions. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about how to retrain your subconscious so when that play button is pushed, it plays the things that are beneficial to you. And I think that's going to be, it'll probably be more likely Monday. It really will. So I want you to have a great weekend. I don't know what you're doing. You could share with me your fun. Cindy and Richard, I hope you guys are having a great day this morning. And everybody else that's out there in the world, I love you. Be good to yourself. And until we meet again, on your mark, get set, packing right on, grow. Bye.